Hey guys, what's up? It's MatchPoint here, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you 5 tips and tricks that you will need for shifting tides in Rainbow Six Siege. So if you do find this video useful, consider dropping a like on the video. If there are any topics that you would like me to cover next, or if you have a specific topic that you are struggling with and would like me to cover it, well, comment it down below so I know to do them. If you are new around here, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the video. So let's get on into it. So the first tip that we're going to be starting with is actually to do with the brand new operator, Wamai, and his ability. Now, most players would be using Wamai's ability to go ahead and stop projectiles from the attackers and simply waste their projectiles. However, Wamai's ability is not just to go ahead and destroy the projectiles. You should actually go ahead and use it for delaying the attackers and destroying their projectiles. And you may be thinking, well, how am I exactly going to delay the attackers with Wamai's ability? Well, you can actually go ahead and place them in various situations which will actually go ahead and delay the attackers. For example, on Outback there are many spots that you can place your Wamai ability over by the ledge. Now if an attacker was to go ahead and throw their projectile through the window to try and go and make a push or whatever they're needing to do, well actually, Wamai's magnet system would actually be able to go ahead and take that projectile and then be able to use it on the attacker. The reason as to why it's going to be used on the attacker or affect the attacker is simply because it's going to be dropped from that ledge which is outside by the attacker. This will then go ahead and drop the flashbang, for example, it could be that, which will then delay them due to the flashbang potentially blinding them. As well as this, they've now got to reset their push and think about their next move. If it's not a flashbang, it could be something such as a capital bolt, which will then go ahead and deal damage to them, which will then mean the same concept, they'll have to reset their push. So for tip number 1, make sure you're using it to delay and destroy. Next up is going to be a tip for Kali and her weapons. In my opinion, it's going to take a lot of adjusting for players to go ahead and make that move and make that switch to Kali and then go ahead and adjust to her weapons. I would consider Kali a support operator and that you should not be rushing in with her. And the very obvious answer is, well, she's not going to be able to take them close fights and win them purely because of her weapons. So instead, you're going to have to adapt and play them long angles. Make sure you're playing that support role for your team. You're the one watching their back from that long angle, holding down the lines of sight for your team. And most importantly, be patient. Now we're going to be moving on to tip number 3, which is be strategic with your magnet system placements. Wamai's ability offers something completely different. The fact that Wamai has a very long range on whereabouts he can throw his magnet system makes him a very versatile operator, as there are a lot of clever positions that you can use his magnet system in. Now typically some of these spots are the best to go ahead and counter Thatcher. For example, on Villa, a very common push when you're playing games in Aviator Room is for the attackers to go ahead and open up the vault with a thermite, for example. Now typically you might have a bandit or a Cade on your team to go ahead and electrify that vault. If the other team was to go ahead and bring a Thatcher, then they would obviously be able to counter it and make their push on through the vault. Well actually, if you be strategic about your magnet system placements, you can actually go ahead and use Wamai to go ahead and counter Thatcher. And this is purely down to the ability of being able to throw your magnet system. So for example, by the vault you can go ahead and throw your magnet system right by that plant, which will actually go ahead and cover up the magnet system so they're not able to see it. And it is actually in range with the Thatcher where they would typically throw their EMP grenade. Not only does this go ahead and use up one of Thatcher's EMP grenades, but it actually alerts your team as it makes a lot of noise that there is a Thatcher and other players holding down the 90 hallway on Villa. Now the 4th tip is to do with the operator Kali, and it is, don't be ever afraid to go ahead and switch to your secondary. Kali is very restricted to what situations she can engage effectively in because of her sniper. If it was a 1v3 situation and you had to push in against a defending team, you wouldn't want to be go ahead and scoping in on the objective trying to kill them. This makes you extremely vulnerable and you shouldn't be doing it at all. So remember to go ahead and take out your C75 as it is a fantastic secondary option. You can go ahead and use that to go and make your move on through. The 5th and final tip is to do with the new and reworked map, Theme Park. You may be struggling with your map knowledge on Theme Park and you may be finding it difficult to learn the map. Well, here's a tip that can help you to learn the map efficiently and effectively. First of all, I would recommend that you go ahead and load up a custom game in Rainbow Six Siege, set your map to Theme Park, and then next go ahead and set the time to the maximum. This way you have enough time to go ahead and explore the map regarding this tip. Once you've loaded into the game, you should see a minimap on the bottom center of your screen. Now this minimap shows you whereabouts you are, giving you north, east, south and west. It also gives you the name of the room or the area that you're currently in, which makes it great for learning map knowledge. And then you can slowly but surely walk through the map looking at the bottom minimap on your screen to show you what those rooms are called. As you go around the map, you should be making mental notes of where the stairs are, where the hatches are, and any key features like that. Adding on to this, I would also recommend tying in certain aspects of the room or objects that will help you to remember that room. For example, there might be a certain object in daycare that will help you to remember that name of the room and where it is positioned. And that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you have all enjoyed. If you did or you found this video useful, then make sure to drop a like on the video and make sure to subscribe for more tips and tricks like this. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.